Welcome, pool guys and gals, to the Let's Talk About Pools podcast, where your host, Lauren Broom, will take a splash into many topics in the pool industry to educate all aquatic professionals. Listen in, and you just might be surprised what you'll learn. So let's jump right in.
Welcome, everybody. Today it's the Let's Talk About Pools podcast. And on today's episode 67, I talked to John Breton with Pool Scouts. He has a very, very awesome franchise over in Texas, and he's very, very well known with Pool Scouts, has done very, very well as a franchisee. So we talk about his franchise success with Pool Scouts. So want to have you guys listen in and learn more about what franchising is and what it's done for him, and see if it's something that you would be interested in, as that's a possibility in the pool industry. And I want to say thank you to our strategic podcast sponsor, which is Skimmer, which they've been the sponsor from the very get-go of this podcast almost 4 years ago now. We're in season 4, about to complete it, start season 5 in November. So really excited to have them on board, and I want to say thank you to them for helping educate through the podcast to the pool industry. So let's jump right in after we hear about what Skimmer has to offer to our pool pros. Thank you to my listeners.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer. Running a pool service business? Skimmer has your back. As the most trusted pool service software in North America, Skimmer helps you save time, boost revenue, and deliver top-notch customer service. With easy-to-use tools and unmatched live support, Skimmer is the partner you need for growth. Join the 30,000 plus pool pros upgrading their business. Visit getskimmer.com/Lauren Broom to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
Welcome, everybody, today to the Let's Talk About Pools podcast. And on my episode today, I have John Breton, who is a franchise out of McKinney, Texas, with Pool Scouts. So he has Pool Scouts of McKinney and Northeast Dallas, Fort Worth. Welcome, John, to the podcast today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Lauren. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you as well. And I want to say congratulations on being awarded the Franchisee of the Year for all of the franchises of Pool Scouts.
Thank you.
Awesome.
It was unexpected,
awesome.
but very grateful for the recognition. Very cool for our team to get that pat on the back. Very nice reward.
Yes, I mean, it takes a lot to get there. So can you take us back to like the beginning? Like what inspired you to start a Pool Scouts franchise in McKinney, Texas?
Yeah, I was looking for the chance to be home and be part of my community. And before that, I was traveling all the time. I was on the road, missing out on all the things that our family and our life and all the basketball games. I wanted something that would keep me home and part of our community. And I wanted the chance to grow our own thing and do our own thing. And I grew up with a pool. I had a lot of poolside memories and experiences. My high school reunion party, it was next to the pool, and I thought giving that fun back to people in scale in McKinney and the areas around would be a fun job to have. And so that's what I switched gears and started doing that in 2018.
Awesome. So you're still kind of new, and you grew to Franchise of the Year within 6 years here. That's pretty amazing. And where did you come from before you were in the pool industry? Were you working in a different industry? Just so our listeners that want to become pool pros maybe, and they're in a different industry and they want that change like you just talked about.
Yeah, I was in a different industry. I worked in sales and marketing. I typically would work on enterprise customers, traveling around and setting them up. So was based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And then my wife's job brought us to McKinney, Texas. And when we changed locations, I changed gears and went into the industry. I looked at a bunch of different franchises, a bunch of different models, and I wasn't quite sure what the one would be. But when I saw the brand, I saw what the potential was. I saw in Texas, a lot of people have backyards that are a lot of fun and a backyard oasis, and they really enjoy their time back there. It attracted me, and it's been a really good fit. I've enjoyed it very much.
And I have to say it's the same thing where I'm at in Florida. It's that backyard oasis, and you got a long swim season in Texas as well as Florida. I know you guys tend to get more snow sometimes than we do over the last maybe 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
North Florida got it this year. Their big thing was dealing with something they never dealt with, enough snow to break through their screen enclosure. So
Wow.
they're not used to having snow piling up on top of the screen enclosures around their pool. So that
Yeah.
was something big that we had to deal with here. So that was kind of, usually it's just a sprinkling and it's not enough. But
Yeah.
that northern, yeah,
Texas is pretty crazy. We get the hail, we get the really high temperatures, we get the wind. We had 70-mile-an-hour winds here last week. We get tornadoes, we get ice, we get a little bit of everything in Texas. And so keeping up with the pool can be kind of a mess if you don't have someone, that has your back.
I think that's something that you're dealing with every year. Down here, our equivalent is if we get a hurricane coming through and hurricane prep for our pools and that kind of thing, especially along the coastline. So
Yeah.
let's get back to you. So you've grown your business from a single territory to 5, and you surpassed $1 million in revenue. So where are some key strategies that helped you scale so successfully?
Yeah. So we leverage our marketing very consistently. So we have faith in our marketing and we continue to market the business. That's part of the blueprint that our franchisor has laid out for us. So, if you have a plan, stick to the plan and don't deviate from it, because if you do, you'll probably do so at your own detriment. So I also rely on the franchisor, my business coaches, and my peers. I have other franchisees like Tiffany in Raleigh, Cary, North Carolina. She's great. I've got several franchisees around the country that I lean on and get information from. I have my own business advisory council. They're from different industries, accounting, HR, sales. They help to fill some of the holes that I have and help us to achieve some of our goals. So I meet with them a couple times a year, and they're smarter than I am, and they help to lead me in the right direction. And then back to the community, involvement. I like to be in the community. I like to be in the chamber, involved in charities and schools and sports. I like to be visible and I like to give back. And so I think that's helped us grow as well.
That's awesome. And I love the one part that you said in the very beginning that you did this because it was about having more time with your family as well. So you're having a business that you own, that you put everything into, your heart and soul, your blood, your sweat, everything into it. But then it allows you to have that ability to see your kids and go to their games, and all that is so important. And I love it when I see somebody who is very successful in their business, but they still talk about the big reason why they made that change was for their family, because that's a good reason right there for why you made that switch, which is awesome.
Yeah, definitely keeps you motivated, and definitely a good purpose behind it. I haven't missed one of my daughter's home or away basketball games, and some of them are 7, 8 hours away. Only one I missed was for the IFA franchise award in Vegas. That's the only one I missed, but every other one I was at. So I'm got a pretty good track record.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's some big challenges that you face as a franchise owner. So tell us like about those challenges and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, we have had quite a few challenges that we've run across. One of the big challenges was in 2023. So started the business in 2018. 2021, we had a huge ice storm, pool apocalypse, and there was tons of repairs that we had to scramble and get parts from Florida and Arizona and California to fix our pools. One of the challenges was really my own fault, but it was real and it really impacted us. In 2023, I kind of had this like swing for the fences mentality. We're going to grow like crazy. I better staff up. I better get all the vehicles ordered. I better get all the chemicals and the equipment. And I thought we would do 44% growth in 2023. We ended up doing about 8% growth in 2023. So we still grew, but I was overbought. I was overstaffed. I was really put myself in harm's way. And we had to restructure the company. We had to change things. We had to do some layoffs. We had to do some getting rid of vehicles. We had to right size the business. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a business now. So the turnaround from 2023 to 2024 was was major, but that was the biggest challenge we faced, was kind of unrealistic growth expectations and overspending.
Wow. And you're still here. So you overcome it. You're still here and you're franchisee of the year. So it's awesome. Now, profitability is a major focus for a lot of businesses, you know. So what were some of the best decisions that you think you made that improved your bottom line for your business?
Yeah, I do a daily margin tracker, Lauren, and that is by technician. So I know if that technician is making us money or losing us money and how much money, what that margin looks like. And that really helps us make those pivots and those course corrections sooner rather than later. I don't want to wait till the P&L comes at the end of the month and then realize that I didn't make, didn't fix things. I don't want to wait that long. It's too late at that point. So doing that helps us stay on track every day. I also negotiate, between Heritage and between Pool Corp and other vendors, negotiate with them, get the best rates. Hey, I'm going to look at your rate and their rate. And hey, if you guys give us a better rate, I'll go with you, or I'll do a pre-buy if you give us a discount. And that helps us to get the best margins we can. I tie on our team incentives to the most profitable behaviors, right? So, hey, if you work well for me, if you do the right things, I'm gonna pay that back to you. I'm gonna give you an incentive and an increase, and because you're doing the right things, and that's great for all of us. And I pass along the credit card fees to the customers. Before, we'd have a $6,000 or $7,000 credit card fee each month, and that sucked to have to pay that. And now we get that back from the customers. We let them know you can use ACH, there's no fee, but if you use a credit card, there is a 3% processing fee. So that saves us $100,000 a year probably. And just making changes quickly and making sure that we don't wait around. Just get on top of it and tackle it head on.
Awesome. And I can understand the credit card processing fee thing too, because I have my own business teaching education in the industry and registration through a website. It's all those fees that are collected. I have not passed that on to the customer yet. So I absorbed that out of the pricing for the class, which I can understand. I know exactly what percentages you're talking about and everything else. You're doing a lot more money than I am. So that percentage of money that you're putting out in that, it was a tremendous amount. So I can understand that completely, being a business owner myself. So many people, dream of owning their own business, like you talked about. What advice would you give to someone, a new person listening to the podcast? Maybe they haven't entered the pool industry yet, but they're looking at this industry because it looks interesting. It's a very niche industry. It's a very cool industry to work in. And so what would you give them for advice considering franchising as a path to being an entrepreneur, owning their own business that way versus starting their own company versus the franchise path?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, Lauren, if you're thinking you're going to be immediately wealthy and profitable and have an unlimited vacation policy, and that's why you're going into business, go buy a lottery ticket, because you're not you're not living in the real world, right? So just be real with people. It's going to take hard work being a franchisee and or an entrepreneur. You're going to have to put in long hours. You're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have, consistency is really the key to breakthrough, right? Doing the right thing again and again, making a little bit of money each time you do the service, the recurring revenue, that is where do that over and over and over. We're in year 7 now, and, it took us, failing and reconfiguring and resetting a couple of times and reworking things to get there. So I think be real, work hard, and be consistent, I think is the advice I would have for someone wanting to go out on their own and forge their own path.
I totally agree with that. I remember when you have to take that leap of faith too, right?
Right.
Especially if you're coming into a new industry that you've not been in before, but you need to educate yourself too, so that you know what's involved before you just make that leap as well.
Yep.
So you become a mentor probably to fellow franchisees, being franchisee of the year in 2024. So what are some common mistakes that new franchise owners you see and talk to? What do they make? What mistakes are they making, and how do you help guide them?
Yeah, I think I think that taking that leap of faith without doing their homework, like you said, that's one mistake, right? Know what you're getting yourself into before you do it. I think having unrealistic expectations, like I talked about earlier, if you think this is going to be an instant overnight success and it's not going to require rolling up your sleeves and really getting after it and really being involved in the business, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're under resourced and you have too short of a runway, you're not going to be able to take off. So you got to have the right planning, the right cash flow analysis. You got to have the right, the right time frame, to take off. So I think that's you got to be coachable. Maybe you did great in corporate America and you had a corporate credit card and you could go to the Ritz-Carlton for lunch or whatever. But you can't do that as a business owner. You've got to be scrappy and hungry and operate differently to be able to survive the lean times and to squirrel away, the proceeds and the profits. So I think those are some things that I would recommend. And I see, as people make some mistakes, having misconceptions before they get started on their own.
And being honest about mistakes that you have, because people make mistakes in their businesses. It's about how big are they, or they're small. And if they're small, you have to, even if it's ends up being a financial mistake, learning from the mistake, fixing it and moving forward from it and not letting it keep you behind, right? Because a lot of business owners make financial mistakes in their business that have a financial impact in some way. And it's about not lying about it or being dishonest about it and just saying, hey, I made a mistake. I'm going to do better moving forward.
You either win or you learn from that situation. So it's not a hey, we're shutting down. It's hey, how do we get ourselves out of this and turn it around? And yeah, be honest with yourself when you fail. And
I've been through where I made mistake that cost me financially, and I go, okay, how do I pivot from that so it doesn't happen again?
Right.
And luckily, it's not something that's going to keep me from my business continuing, but it's still like you see that money go out the door and you're like, I know I could have used that better over here, And so it's how big did you let it happen too, right? And how soon you realize what's going on. So you got to monitor things going on in your business too, right? You can't just run it, but not run it. You got to know the underlying financial impact. And yes, you do have to be frugal, squirrely, and you got to save money. You can't spend everything that comes into your business either on trips and all kinds of stuff. A lot of times you got to keep a lot more in the business than you realize, especially in the beginning, until you kind of have an idea what your expenses are going to be per year.
Yeah, the projection or the plan that it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows is not realistic. Get a hold of reality and be ready for when things don't go as planned.
Yep. All right. So beyond running a successful business, you've built strong ties in your area there in McKinney and Northeast Dallas Fort Worth community. Why is local engagement so important for you guys?
Yeah, like I talked about, and some of my reasons for getting into the business and going out on my own, it was an important part of why I wanted to have a local franchise business. I was, like I said, traveling. I was missing, more of the games of my daughter than I was going to, missing her choir concerts, not sleeping in my bed, missing my wife, my dog. I wasn't active in our community. I've been fortunate, since starting the business that I've been able to be at every single, home and away game. I've been able to be at every choir concert. I've been able to be, active in my tennis team. We've been able to, since 2018, support and sponsor local sports teams, schools, sponsor swim lessons, promote water safety. Played and sponsored in a pickleball tournament that was for smashing out hunger, and had a really good time last weekend with a buddy. And so get to be part of fun things. And we really thrive when we're part of the community and we're giving back, and just feel like it's our responsibility to do so.
That's awesome. And I know we've been talking about that since the beginning, the time that you have with the family. I have family too, so I completely understand. That was one of the big reasons why I pivoted from working a full-time job for state government and pivoted to the education business that I do, other than the podcast. and I see my kids and my spouse and go to church and activities a lot more than I did before. So I can understand what you're talking about completely. So what sets Pool Scouts apart from the other pool service providers? Like, how do you ensure a top-notch customer service and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'll hit on a couple of them. I think highly trained pool experts, certified. We background check them. I don't put anybody in a backyard that I wouldn't have in my backyard. We're licensed. We have workers' comp insurance, not required in the state of Texas, but if someone was to fall and break their leg in the backyard, most people don't know that it would be their homeowner's policy that would kick in, whereas we have a policy that would cover them. Being transparent, communication's big for our team. So a detailed report card of every visit, before and after pictures. This is the chemicals that were added. Here's a picture of the technician that was there. Here's how long they were there. So, right. So building trust and loyalty through the communication process. I've got a team here, myself, Sue in our office, David in our office, Elsie. So we answer the call, we get back to people quickly. It's hard to do that if you're out cleaning and repairing pools all day, and then you're exhausted at the end of the day, and you have your voicemail is full and your email box is full, and that's a struggle, and it's frustrating to customers. So we have a team dedicated to being here, responding, communicating, and helping them professionally through the process. So those are some of the things that I think help us stand out.
Communications is a biggie. I can say my previous job, I was a health inspector for the health department down here for 17 years, and a lot of the violations on the public swimming pools were usually related to communication between the pool service company and the property management company for the HOA or whatever. And so nobody communicated, this is broken, so then this is why they had no chlorine. And it's like, well, the bill doesn't get paid, they're not going to install a new feeder. So it's like all the communication between the different pieces. So I can understand that part right there as well, just from my experience being kind of part of that. I'm out there looking at it, see the problems, and then based on talking to all parties involved, determine, communication kind of broke down in here, and that could have fixed this a lot sooner, probably before I showed up, and you get a pool shut down by your health agency. So, and that's pretty impactful depending on the type of property it is, especially a hotel or motel where the pool is an amenity that is a selling point for people that are staying there. They're going to decide to stay or not. So but if communication breaks down, then things don't get corrected timely. So I completely understand what you're talking about there. So I like this. I love this question. That's why I put this one on here. So can you share a memorable customer story or a time when your team went above and beyond for a client? I like this question.
Yeah, it's actually a question that we ask our candidates when we have applicants apply. We ask them to paint a picture for a memorable something they did above and beyond for a customer. So I was glad to see that this was a question that you were going to ask. And yeah, there's a ton of them that come to mind. One of them is Hayes. He's a customer of ours since 2018. He has a huge pool, a water slide, and diving rock, and it's just a big fun pool. And his son has his birthday party, big pool party every year. And so we get to help since his 12th birthday through his 18th birthday. We've been part of the last 6 years, helping get ready for his son's birthday. They seem to get bigger and bigger every year. And then this year, or last year, he had his graduation party. And now we're getting the pool perfect for the new memories that the new owners are going to have on the pool. So we've been there through all of these years, helping be a part of it. And now we're getting it ready for the next family to enjoy. So it's a rewarding process.
That's pretty neat that you've been doing that pool that long, that you've gone from one family to the next family, and they probably have a young kid that's going to grow up with the same memories that around this pool. And, people's backyard pools, I agree. I don't have one in my backyard, but we go to our aunt and uncle's 15 minutes away. And during the summer, I got a key. I go to their backyard pool 2 days a week. It's kind of like part of the summer camp schedule that I do during the summer. This classes for me slow down during the summer, which is perfect because my kids are home during the summer and I spend a lot of time with them. And there's a lot of memories the last 4 or 5 summers around that pool. going out and we're doing pictures and they're jumping and diving on the, deep end of the pool together, all three. And then we add some boyfriends to the picture later on. So I agree. There's memories around that kind of stuff. And that's really cool. So I really like that question there. It's very personable. You get personability with your business as well, which is I feel is very important with your customers.
Yeah, pools are a personal thing. People are really, critical of them, and they really want them to be perfect. They really want to be able to enjoy them. They want to show them off. They want to be proud of the sparkling pool in the backyard and to be the center point of the fun and the activities, for sure.
Exactly. So you've accomplished so much already. So what's next for you and your Pool Scout team over there in Texas? Are there any future plans for expansion, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, Lauren, I think, 20 years ahead, keep doing 20 years of good service, doing the right thing, having a great team, serving our community, helping our customers create those lovely poolside memories. We aim to grow about 10% annually. Will put us at about a $10 million business at that 20-year, growth mark. I want to have a whole slew of Pool Scouts alums who want to maybe take over the business and take it to new heights at the point when I'm, an old fart and ready to move on. So, yeah.
Thinking about retirement already.
Yeah, well, at 20 years, right? I'm a young guy, 50, so I got some good gas left in the tank.
Hey, I'm about the same age, so I'm thinking the same thing. I still got plenty here to give to the industry for at least another 2 decades is my hope.
Let's go.
So, what are some trends or innovations in the pool service industry that you're kind of keeping your eye on right now?
Yeah, we like seeing the new iterations, the new versions of the robotic cleaners. We're real happy with some of the new versions that are out. I'm interested to see, the new automations, the pool brain, how AI can come into the industry and it can determine based on my sprinkler knows when it needs to go on. Why doesn't my pool know how much the runtime should be, and how what speed should the pump run at, and why can't there be some smarter I think Pentair, Hayward, Jandy, they have kind of this they've been doing it for so long, they're kind of the big guys and they kind of are a little stagnant sometimes. I'd like to see some disruption. I'd like to see some evolution. I'd like to see some new players and some new ideas. That would be fun for all of us, right?
Yeah. And I see new stuff, especially when I go to the conferences and the shows. So I completely agree. I think technology is going to be taking our industry to a whole new level coming up. I think AI is a biggie to help figure out some of the things that you said that specifically for that each pool, right? That are unique. They have their own fingerprints.
Yeah.
So if you could give one piece of advice to an aspiring entrepreneur, somebody wanting to come into the pool industry, what would it be as we end here?
Yeah, I'd say dream big, work hard, never give up, never ever give up. And you're either going to win or you're going to learn, right? So go for it. Jump in.
Awesome. Thank you for being on the podcast today. It was really nice talking with you, John. And
You too, Lauren.
Again, congratulations on being the award winner, Franchisee of the Year for 2024 for all the Pool Scouts in the whole country. That's
hopefully
awesome.
we can help to see some other people on the winner's circle, help them, mentor them. And thanks for your time and thanks for the chat. Enjoyed it.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for diving in today with the Let's Talk About Pools podcast. Be sure to follow us on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page. And feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts so more aquatic professionals like you can learn about the show. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Let's Talk About Pools podcast.